Hi, I'm Leather Rock. Good evening. And we got a few minutes to midnight here. I got 11:49 Eastern Time. So I hope you're doing well today. And I hope that this fan, I have a fan going down here on its lowest setting, but we've got a bunch of people across the street, and I want you to be able to hear me. And I'm not real close to the computer because I really went out of my way to set up the frame like I wanted to, and I got a mirror you can't see too well that I'm trying to reflect more light on this end because I just got the overhead light here that has two working bulbs, and we actually had the landlord come by with to work on some of the electric here, and the only thing he got was the first two rooms that way. So it's going to be probably middle of December before he gets down to sand. So I'm going to have to continue sleeping with the overhead light. Oh, it's so much fun. Uh, Today I wanted to talk to you about, well, this is going to go back the last couple of days I've been out playing guitar. Now, this incidentally is not what I planned to do for this evening. I actually have three videos that I was going to choose from and I was going to do for today. But in light of recent events, I decided to do something else. So, a couple of days ago, somebody, a friend of mine, rang my doorbell, and since he wanted to talk to me and invite me out to play, and I had three strings left on my acoustic guitar here. So I said, and I mean, I have the strings, I just had to have them put on, and he put them on, and he said he'd meet me on the boardwalk. I wasn't dressed to go out when he rang the doorbell, so I was like wearing sweatpants or whatever. So I changed my clothes and put more makeup on. And by the time I went out there, oh yeah, when I saw him, I brought him in. I had one of those cups that you stick in the freezer and it makes it like it has ice cubes in it. It can make your drink cold. He asked if he can use it, and he put some kind of hard liquor in it. And he used one of my cans of soda that I'm saving for my birthday. He used some of that as a mixer. Okay, so that's what we're starting with. So by the time I was ready and went out on the boardwalk, of course, I didn't find him anywhere. So I decided I would just go find my play spot. Okay. And I decided that, I would wait until I made my first $10 and I'd look for him. Right. So, but I didn't even get that far. I actually ran into him playing on the boardwalk in one of the cubby holes up near resorts, next to two homeless guys, one of whom had a sleeping bag out, and they looked like they were all camping out. And of course, this guy had a hat out in front of him, and people were throwing him money while just when I arrived. So right away, now he's competition. So I needed to go find a play spot. Okay, so I went like a couple blocks away and everything. But what ended up happening is they the other guys disappeared, and he made his way to where I was, which happened to be Central Pier. And I don't think I had $5 at that point. It was really, but sometimes people would say they don't have money, but they'll offer you weed. Well, this happened just when he showed up. And but he actually said for the guy to give me the weed. So that was cool. And by the end of the day, more than half of the weed he gave to me, which I'm thinking, considering all the head start he had, these people drink. Oh, and when I was on camera, I decided to film some of the stuff we were jamming and stuff ultimately that evening. And one of the things that I mentioned specifically was that I refused to be one of the beggars on the boardwalk. I won't do it. I said, I don't beg. And then he gets his face in the camera and he says, but I do. I mean, while we were playing, he was asking people for their food when they were carrying down the street. He was actively asking people. When he was playing harmonica, at one point I was playing guitar and he was playing harmonica, and he would interrupt uh, what he was playing to ask people to give money. And I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that that makes us players look good. It was just really not right. So that day I ended up, after he gave me $4, because finally, once people show up with amphetamines, and it's time to go. Okay, and I'm not judging people who still do that stuff. I did back in the day, but I am very far removed from that stuff. Weed is all I do. Okay, so I don't need, and I'm wondering, gee, why this person is so lively. So the next day I go out there, and again, I go straight to find a play spot, hopefully where you don't have all these panhandlers that come. What they do is you're out there playing, right? And then this person starts panhandling. I don't mean the same person, this guitar player. I'm talking about other panhandlers. And they stand and they pivot and they pick people off of their money before they even get anywhere near you. You don't stand a chance. If you're a musician, you don't stand a chance, okay? And then sometimes it's people who I genuinely do feel sorry about for, such as there's this one old fragile guy, and by old, he's not that old. He's only 72, but he looks so fragile. He looks like if the wind blew hard enough, you would fall over. He has uh just he looks very broken and fragile and stuff. And I saw him. I was in front of Boardwalk Hall this afternoon, and I'm glad I had a lot of layers on, because it went from being too hot for trousers to you want 3 or 4 hoodies on you and stuff. And anyway, I saw this guy standing in the middle of the boardwalk and pivoting, asking people for money and stuff. And I actually came up to him and I said, "Look, where's your spot? If this is your spot, I'll go, because I don't want to interfere with you making money. Because it seems to me that the panhandlers and beggars are making all the money. And if you got to play a musical instrument, unless you have one of those speakers that's so loud it wakes the dead, you don't stand a chance. And you got to worry about the cops. Everybody, unless you have those coveted mercantile permits, everybody's in hiding from the cops. Unless you're so drunk that you just don't care, like many people, just or the cops just have them move on down the road. But I don't know. Yes, people are getting tickets, asking people to get sleeping in public tickets. Obviously, that's not something I have to worry about, but it's happening to people. And if you give a person enough tickets, they end up with a record. So now this person that I'm really mad at, the same person who did fully string this guitar, so I'm grateful. I ran into him today. I've been looking for him, and I went out because I really wanted to go take advantage of, I don't know how many more warm days we're going to have. And I wanted a day where I'm not going to be blown out to sea. So I go first, I go to Tropicana, and I make my way up the boardwalk up toward resorts and past there, right? And it's hard to find a quiet place, first of all. Second of all, you're trying to avoid where there's people that are panhandling. You got to stay away from other musicians, or even, it's not just musicians. You got to think about it. You got people that are artists who paint seashells. You've got a guy that has a cat, and you got a lot of these homeless people who have signs, and they just sit and they hold signs all day and all night. And you give these people a good block or two at least, so everybody has their space. And it gets more dense with different people trying to make money when you get closer to resorts, I noticed. But when you get between resorts and ocean, it gets really desolate. And it's just, to me, it's not worth it. And you get near ocean, it's very windy. Any tall place is going to be like a wind tunnel. And again, you've got some really aggressive panhandlers that make it impossible to be standing in one spot and trying to, you're waiting, you're thinking, if I stand out here for another hour, maybe I'll get something. If I stand for another hour, and sometimes people beg you to let you, they want to play your instrument. And usually you say no, but occasionally they say they'll give you a tip if you do it. And sometimes I actually have done that, even though you shouldn't let other people do it. What if they damage your instrument? But sometimes you really want to make some money, so you take the chance. And sometimes, they do give you things, and other times, they just waste your time. And today, somebody begged me to let him play, and he didn't give me anything, but he wasn't too rough with the instrument. But so I went looking for this certain person who I had all this footage of from Saturday night. And I finally found him. I found him right exactly in front of Hard Rock, in the space that I was kicked off of. A place, the Hard Rock has yellow shirted security that works for them, and they have cameras. They have somebody manning the desk in front, and you can see exactly who's hanging out in front of there. And the area where you have these pillars that are holding up the building facade, whatever, and give some shade to people. And there's an area that's a demarcation between the boardwalk itself and the casino property. If they don't want you there, they'll ask you to leave, and they can tell that you're there because even if they don't see you from looking out the window, you're on camera. Casinos have cameras all over and in front of them everywhere. You just have to assume that you're on camera. Sometimes the cameras extend to the railing that touches the beach. So yes, you're on camera. So I got 4 good days there before the yellow shirts chased me off, and then the same cop that I have been dodging ever since, that red-haired guy, uh, says you can't be there. So okay, you can't be there. So when I found this guy there with his harmonica, and okay, his guitar wasn't out, it was in the thing. And I told him, I says, dude, you can't be there. And he says, I can be there. I'm here. I says, no, you can't. I said, how come I can't be here and you can be there? And I forget what it is he said, but excuse me, if how long you've been here and how long you've been established as being here means anything. I was born and raised in this son of a bitch town. Okay, aside from the 16 years I was in California and in the time that I've traveled since then, but still, if that means anything, yes, I have a right to be here. And since when is a musician worth less than a mere panhandler or somebody who just gets drunk and gets emotionally abusive to people and gets rude to people and stuff? I told him, I forget exactly what words I used, but I consider this my job. This is my job now. And I said, jobs, you expect to be making money. He says, you want a job? Well, you wanted to be a cashier at ShopRite or something. And I said, I don't want to be a fucking cashier. I'm a musician. And you know what that son of a bitch did? He laughed in my face. So now this is somebody who was throwing around the idea of my getting a van load of my best boardwalk buddies and us going over to either Millville or what's the other town? Uh, Millville or see, I don't go to these areas. What's the other one? Vineland or some little town near there. It's on the edge of the Pine Barrens, and their way these homeless people would have to be able to take showers, and there'd be amplifiers so you can plug and play guitars and all this stuff, and nobody'd have to worry about drinking and driving because they'd be out there and whatever. But you know what? After he laughed at me like that, and he's somebody who last summer he was going and announcing to everybody that he was a rock star. And he was also taking credit for the song he was going around, this one song he was playing for people called White Trash Lady, that he most certainly did not write. And because all you have to do is do a search of the song and you find the name of the band that did it. It's a band out of Florida, maybe called Moccasin Creek. Well, I don't know if that's where they're from, and I don't know any of those guys. But no, it's their song. And when I told him that there's this guy that's going and trying to take credit for writing the song, he said they never heard of him. So he's going around and telling people both that he wrote the song, but he's also telling people that his version of the song is on YouTube, which, yes, it is different. Anybody with a channel can film anything they want pretty much. And he tried to tell people that he was a YouTuber. Just because you have been on other people's channels does not make you a YouTuber. Where's your channel? You don't have a channel. He doesn't have a channel. And the thing is, I had 3 really interesting pieces of footage from the other night that made him look 100 gazillion times better than me. And okay, yes, he is a better player. Okay. And he sings and plays and he sings different, much more current stuff than what I would want to do. And he's a good picker and he knows more chords. Okay. But would you rather have something with the best chops and the most talent? Or would you rather have somebody on your channel who's actually a nice person and doesn't treat people like they're less than? He did this to so many people last summer, including some people who passed away that didn't like that he would call names and stuff. And, if you don't like some aspect of your life, I'm sure you could change. If you have a problem with drinking, like he's somebody that wakes up with the shakes and can't wait for Ducktown Tavern to be open so that he can get whatever, And anyway, after what he said to me today, it just reminded me of how he treated me last summer. and why I was glad that every time I shot video 4 different times trying to film him doing that song. I was going to put it on my channel. And at that time, I thought it was this real clever song that this guy I just met had written. And it was before I did my research. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't post that footage, because I announced the song and I announced it as being his original. And that would have gotten me in trouble for saying something was original that wasn't. Because you know how YouTube is about spreading disinformation. Can't do it. Can't get caught doing it. You know, don't want to open up that can of worms again. But I don't know that I'm going to share this footage that I shot with him in it with anybody, because when people are that rude and that unkind to you, do you want to give them free publicity? No, I don't. And do I want him to hang out with me on my birthday? No, I don't. So the plans that I was thinking of making, guess what? It's back down to going with some people, getting a room. It'll be not in the casino. That way we can get a smoking room and cigarette smoking rooms in the cheapo little hotels. They don't care if you smoke weed in them. And that's the whole point. They'll have mini fridges so you can bring different beverages and things. I'm going to bring a bunch of snacks. I've already put in protective packaging for the mice, which, by the way, Thursday, the working man's supposed to do as many as possible. Like if you get them in a basket or bucket, they can jump down from any height, but they can only jump so high. So you get things and you rest them, you carry them outside. I got a garden to carry them in. I got lots of grassy areas in the neighborhood to tilt the thing and let them go. I hate to think of the poisons and things that await them in a couple of days. But that said, they've got to deal with the vermin situation, and that's the reason why I don't have an amplifier. I would love to get at least a mini Marshall of some kind. Fender has these real great little things. There's so many things that even at lowest price points. But I'm really afraid of getting electronics while we have this situation. My computer, even, it makes me nervous. I don't have it on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the way I did before. I use it when I need to, but I unplug it, let it cool off, shut it down, uh, close it up, put it in the zipper thing. Sometimes I put it in plastic and put it. Oh yeah, when the landlord was working on the electric stuff, he wanted me to move some things out of the grow room in the front. Of course, that's a storage room that has Christmas stuff in it, and a whole bunch of my stuff packed up. And I'm moving things out of there. And of course, there's no way to put them, no place to put them except the hallway. He wants me to take the table that is where I put the house plants and stuff, and also where I have this dry clothes. And the table is seen and is ready to be taken to the great table, but still, no, I don't know when he's not going to be back until sometime in December to do that. So I have some time to do that. But the thing is, I spent years literally cleaning things and putting things away. And sometimes you have mice biting bottom, and then I hate the thought of rewashing all that stuff. I mean, I wash things by hand. It's just a real aggravation. And I really want to go back to LA, deal with my storage. If I put the two things into one, then it'll cut my note in half. I still have that hanging over my head, and I just as soon do it during the time I stand to be losing a lot of guitar money. You know, two $9 days and a $6 day. It's ridiculous. And today there is no weed, and having to deal with these idiots. But at least I know where I stand with certain people. That I didn't was a real friend. I have a lot of acquaintances in this town. I have a lot of acquaintances on the internet. But as far as the people who are really true blue, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful every time somebody puts strings on my guitar and stuff. But to be treated meanly, to be treated dismissively, to, I don't think that there's ever a need to be less than supportive to a fellow player. no matter what your skill set is, you don't need to treat somebody like you're better than they are. And especially when there's people that do other things besides play. That most of how they seem to get their money is coming up to people, asking them if they want to hear a song. And people know that you don't want something for nothing. And I'm sorry, but that's begging, that's soliciting. And then he kept on saying that because I had my hat out, I was inviting problems with the police. Well, name one player out there that doesn't have a hat or a bucket or something. I tried not use a hat or a bucket or anything. I tried that. And what ends up happening is I'm out there for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm doing this. People think you're doing it. But I know people told me afterwards they thought I was doing it just to do it. It didn't occur to them that I was doing it for something besides just listening to myself play. I don't tell me people are stupid. I'm starting to really wonder about the intelligence levels of people around here. I don't know if it's because there's such a high level of people that are doing heroin and crack and things like that. Or maybe it's because there's so many people that have their cars and trucks that they let idle for minutes and hours at a time sometimes, and that's lowering the quality of air, and we're all breathing all this exhaust. You think that because you're living by the ocean, you got to have all this fresh air and stuff, all this salt air. Gotta love it. We used to have such clean air, but what started messing up with Atlantic City's air was when the casino buses becoming the day trippers. They would bus in all these senior citizens. They play, spend their Social Security day playing a penny and nickel slots here. And that's when they passed the law saying you couldn't idle more than 5, 10 minutes. And the thing is, I guess now, unless there's a sign posted, people do it anyway. And this is a multiple zoned area. You've got residential, but you also have business. So when you have mixed zone, you're going to have sometimes trucks and you're going to have delivery things, obviously. And and now, and some of the streets are one way, so you have to watch that. It's really fun when people do the shortcuts using different parking lots and stuff that are all over, and they end up driving a long one way street. But now, cops, they do whatever they damn well please. Yeah. Yeah, I thought there was something else I wanted to mention. That thing about that fellow guitar player, that was important. So now I don't have to feel guilty about quote unquote using him for somebody to put my strings on until I finally get my hand on it. I'm going to let him do it. If you're going to be mean to me, then yes. If you want me to bring out my bowl because you want to fill it with marijuana, yes, I'll let you do it. Because I'm going to be emotionally abused by you. Yes, I'll let you smoke me out. And if you're going to call me names and act like you're better than everybody else, if you're going to laugh in my face when I had the gall to refer to myself as a musician, I mean, what is the reason why I have all this stuff? And if somebody is going to be that unkind, you expect that of dirt balls that make fun of you on the street. You might expect that if somebody you live with doesn't like you. You don't expect that as somebody that calls you their friend or calls you as your friend. You know, I am not going to forget this, and I'm not going to other people. And okay, maybe this is partly so. I don't think I want to hang around you for my birthday. But that said, I'm going to be going to as many of the places as groups of people gather as possible so that I can find the people that I am going to want to be around me. And I'm going to find out when certain people are going to be getting the hotel rooms because my birthday happens to fall on a day of the month where a lot of people are getting hotel rooms. And it's shortly after Halloween. And and as far as Halloween goes, if I can find the essential part of the costume I'm thinking of doing this year, I would like to do it because I'm going to do the usual things that I do for Halloween. I need a big, life-sized, mean, angry-looking German Shepherd dog for a costume. I don't want to spend more than $5 on it. Because I'm not a dog person. It's not because I like dogs or anything. It's because I'm a cat person. It's because I want to do some sewing to make a costume. I have a perfect idea for a costume, but it needs the dog. And so far, the only things I've seen or little tiny things and benign looking things, and no, this needs to be big, tough looking. So yeah. Usually what ends up happening is if I put a lot of effort into a Halloween costume, and especially if I end up not winning first prize, because I go all out and they're never store-bought things. And if I don't win, it's a real bummer. And then I put all this effort into Halloween, and before you know it, there goes my day, and it gets colder and colder, and people just start hanging out. And it's like, what kind of fun is it when you can't find your friends and they're all keeping warm someplace and you can't find them? And, I'm always going to I'll get a birthday cake my mom will bake me because she does that every year. It's going to be chocolate with chocolate icing, or it'll be a German chocolate cake that has German chocolate icing, which actually has coconut in it, and it's like almost like honey. Now, there's an icing I like to make that involves peanut butter, and I beat it with, I guess you could use the cake the beaters, but I like to do things by hand because it's real easy to get things airborne. The last thing I want is whipped peanut butter to get in my hair. But I beat that, soften it, add some sugar to it, and then I add some chocolate powder. And that makes a chocolate peanut butter cake icing. And that's real good on chocolate cake. And if I have any nuts, I can put them in the grinder, and I can grind walnuts and put them on top. I can grind peanuts if I still have peanuts and put them on top. And I don't think I know anybody with any food allergies to any of those things. The only people I know that have any food allergies, I know some people who have seafood allergies. And I think I might know one person or two that might be gluten free, but I don't think they'd be trying to grab birthday cake anyway, So, but yeah, I want Chinese food for my birthday. That's one thing. I want to make sure that I'm someplace that's close to the Chinese restaurant. And all these hotels and people they're real close. There's this place on Tennessee Avenue that has quite an extensive menu. And I think one time they were open till 6 in the morning. I wish there was Chinese restaurants that open this late here. They seem to think that it's okay to close at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Maybe that's because they think it's what the market bears. You get almost any other kind of food in the wee hours. You shouldn't have to be happy with going to 7-Eleven and getting a couple of pints of ice cream to eat your sorrows. That's what I did one year. And that's just that you're abusing your body by eating all those calories. And plus, it's not $9 a pint for like Ben and Jerry's now. It's ridiculous. You know. Anyway, I forget what else it is I wanted to talk about besides the guitar thing, and how that really. I guess I had to see that side of that person. I don't want to name his name, but you don't expect a friend to be like that, you know? And it's not worth hanging out with a person. Okay, yes, if I break a string, I will let him put a string on because I'm thinking it's better get the string put on than not have the string put on and miss a day of work because you have an unstringed guitar. I'll get my needs met. And if it requires me to put up with some assholiness, I guess that's what I have to put up with. Just like if certain people across the street or downstairs make me and my family miserable, then yes, if I can get something from you to make up for my suffering, yes, I'll do it. That means I should have first dibs on the roaches you guys throw around. If you're giving away food, clothing, I should have first dibs at it. If you have something that maybe I don't like, but my mother likes, she should have first dibs on it. The roaches, definitely. These people try to say, oh, well, at least you have a place to live. You have a key that goes in the door. They think that they have a right to the roaches. No, these people, most of them, they get a government check of some kind. They have other multiple income sources. When I saw how fast I went through that eighth that I bought, 24 hours, come on, that's ridiculous. So no, if you buy it and you need it, go through it that fast, that's ridiculous. I should not be spending money on it. When I see how long it takes me to make the little that I make, now that not that there aren't some good days, but now that it's getting cold, And again, your competition are the panhandlers and the people you thought were friends. If they're going to laugh at you for referring to yourself as a musician, I'm not calling myself a butcher, which he is. Whatever. You feel that you have to belittle people for their dreams and their training and whatever. Anyway, it was nice for you tuning in. And if there's something else, I get the feeling there's something else that I was going to talk about. And uh, oh yeah, I think this is it. There's this real nice lady who drops off the Popeyes chicken every now and then. And you're overdue, by the way. She dropped off when I was in line someplace to get some groceries. She dropped off a bunch of jewelry, Chinese jewelry. I don't know if it's a form of jade, but what I find interesting is I want to know what the character is on these pieces. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to get close to the camera here. Can anybody see the Chinese character? Looks like there's a dragon on one side, on the right, in a Chinese character of some kind. Oh, can you hear me from back over here? Whoops, I just knocked something over. If you can hear me from back there, I'll see what I can do. Okay, let me get a pip. Did I get a pip? Oh, here they are. I tied the. See, this is what I wanted to do. I brought my. Oh, I brought my computer with me, but I never felt like dragging it out of the case. I had to set it someplace fairly clean. There you go. And hopefully not have the wind move the screen, which would make it wobbly and also contributes to why I'm hell on the screens. Okay. If I really wanted to take the time, I put one of the tuner things online, but no, I don't want to screw this up. So it's probably not perfectly in tune, but we'll just pretend it is. This is something called Squirrels. Squirrels. Love nuts. Squirrels. Love nuts. Water, like to drink alcohol all the time. I don't like it, but I'm a friend of yours. W, still W, so true. I'm a friend of your W. Small, nuts, small, nuts, up the street, like we give such a hard time. I know I don't want you to find a donut shop, find a donut shop, get off my block, find a donut shop, squirrel, love nuts, squirrel, love nuts. My friend, board one home, we hang out, so drunk sometimes, and that's okay. We don't like it, we'll find another home, leave us alone while we snuggle along, squirrel, love nuts, squirrel, love nuts. The games on the corner, he's so proud. Yeah, 1, 8, 9. I don't like it. I can't call the cops. I'm a snitch on the run. Get a gun. That wouldn't be fun. No, it wouldn't. Squirrel. Love nuts. Squirrel. Love nuts. Squirrel. Love nuts. Squirrel. And that has had a number of choruses and a number of things. It's something that started out as a busking song and just, you know, but there is something that I've got to find a notebook that has the lyrics to it's a seagull song. I got to find it. I think it's in the grow room. I'm not going to keep this too late. It is now 12. See, I can't see that far away. It's 12:29 a.m. Hi, Char. How you doing? Uh, Zumbador, how are you doing? Be kind. Yes, I wish the world would just be more kind. Uh, yeah, I'm going to, when I get done off with this. Oh, yeah, I gave my mother a haircut today. a couple hours ago. And of course, she didn't want to be done on camera. And because she decided that she was not going to go to her doctor's appointment unless she got her hair cut. But now she's complaining that it's gray. But we didn't have time to do that today because I wanted to go out and go play the guitar and stuff. So, all right. So one person is now off my birthday list. I know. So do you guys agree? Oh no, you just came on here. So this means I can't leave just yet. So you guys, so I don't have to repeat everything I said. Watch the rebroadcast of this. You get to hear what I had to say and find out all the things that I don't expect of my friends. Because, if you're my friend and if I'm your friend, we build each other up. We say things to encourage each other. We don't say things to make the people around us feel small. That's not my definition of friend. That's not my definition of decent human being. And especially if you know that something is somebody's livelihood, if you know something is part of somebody's dream, you don't belittle them. That's not necessary. Let's see what you. Okay. Zamador says, "Thank you, Leather. Maybe with a microphone, the guitar will come through." Sultry voice. Thank you. Uh, yeah, I have two lavalier mics, but they're not wireless. They have 6-foot cords. Now, I don't know how the sound recording is with this. Sometimes when I'm listening to videos on this computer, I get a crackling sound. The top volume is not very loud. But and I know I need to work on my lighting. I have a real hard time with that. This is the overhead here. It's only half working. I've got a little lamp here. I have a light plugged in here or clamped onto here, but it's not plugged in. I have a new meaning I found it, light fixture that I found. It was dropped off at the same place where the lady drops off the chicken. But yeah, I need to put a light bulb on there. The thing is, the thing has a warning sticker on there that says risk of fire, use only type A lamp, maximum 40 watts. So, but that said, at least it's an incandescent light bulb. I like the warmth of real incandescent lights. I know the government's trying to phase them out and stuff, but I really like them. That's and as we're getting the cold winter months, I like the heat that they give off. But I know everybody's talking about LEDs and stuff, and maybe I should get some lights from Wish.com. But the thing is, I don't want something that's only going to last like 2 years. Okay, I'm going to turn this thing off so that I can get something to eat. I don't think there's anything else in particular that I wanted to say, except all the places that I'm going to go to find all the people that I can so that I could assemble who I want to share my birthday with. It's a couple of days after Halloween. And the place, I hope if it's one of those hotel rooms, I hope they have free Wi-Fi so I can go live on my birthday. That's one of the things I want to do, even though my birthday does not fall under one of my normal posting schedules. My posting days normally, if I'm adhering to schedule, would be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. If I'm doing a part 1, 2, 3 or something, then those will be on consecutive days, especially if it's a music thing. Uh, so mine too. What? I don't know how to uh, say your screen name. Chusuck. Is that how you say that? What are you saying? You share my birthday? Are you an election day baby? I'm always nervous about the identity theft thing, so I know like to say right out when the day is. Your birthday is mine. Oh, then okay. The story you will appreciate. I spent a birthday in Hollywood while we were waiting for the election results to find out who was going to win, George W. Bush or Gore. and we were eating and drinking at this bar that is for expatriates. It's called Cat and Fiddle. It's a British bar. And we're waiting for the election results. Usually, a couple hours after the polls close, you get a pretty good idea of who is going to be winning. And I got to eat something called bangers and mash. Now, I'm of English ancestry, so this should have been the most wonderful thing. I was kind of disappointed because, first of all, the mashed potatoes were practically like gravy. They were really soupy and runny, and I like my mashed potatoes real stiff and lumpy. My mom makes great mashed potatoes. I make great mashed potatoes. Pretty much not too different than just taking soft boiled uh, potatoes and mashing them skins on. That's where all the vitamins are. And I like to add a little turmeric. I like to add even curry powder. That's really good. You can play with them anyway. But I know because you're a purist, you don't want to season them up and everything. But yeah, I hate runny mashed potatoes. And the sausages, the bangers, had no flavor to them at all. They were just a disappointment. And I felt so bad because I wanted to love it because I'm English. That's my main ancestry. And I'm not an immigrant, I'm a colonist. My family came over in the 1600s, those early ships. My grandma had the family tree done, and she said that we were eligible for the Daughters of the American Revolution membership. Of course, that's one of these high society things. I believe you need to have some kind of money behind you for them to even want you, even if you have the credentials. That doesn't mean, I think they want to see what your standing is in the community, and I think I'm not highfalutin successful enough that they would want me anyway. But that said, and plus, who knows how expensive it would be to join? And if you join, really, what does it get you for besides some bragging rights, which you have anyway by virtue of the fact that you have this lineage? It doesn't mean that, and $2.50 will get me on a jitney anywhere it goes here in Atlantic City. All right, so all right, I don't know what else I want to say. I'm going to try to find as many of my friends as possible because it looks like I'm probably not going to. I toyed briefly with the idea of going to New York City, and I realized my friends who are there are too busy working. They're not going to have time to spend with me except for an odd half hour here and a half hour later on in the day. They're too busy because they're working. And I can't expect them to change their life or whatever just to see a friend, because you can't take a day off of work. I understand that. So and anyway, I'd be running around. It's going to be chilly. And unless one time when I did spend my birthday in Manhattan, I lucked out. The weather was great. And this was before I quit drinking. So I was able to go to, was this before I quit drinking or after? I don't know. Wait a minute. Because I think there was this bar that I never got to go to before I quit drinking, and I started going after I got sober because they had a funeral, not a funeral, but a memorial service for a dead rock star that used to go there. And it was my first time to get to explore Brooklyn. New York is such a big place. It's really, I haven't even scratched the surface of it. Anyhow, I haven't been there in so long because it's so expensive to get there now. And right now with the crime and stuff, there hasn't been too many reasons I would have really wanted to go, aside from like the 9/11 memorial. And sometimes there's historic things going on that it's exciting to be there. But yeah. Uh, but yes, when my birthday comes around, I am going to go live that day. And I'm going to do, if I have any party, I definitely want to document them. And, but yeah, the plan seems to be get one of those cheap hotel rooms where you could smoke weed in the room. You get a little mini fridge, and I got all these sodas. I showed you guys the sodas that I have. I got like these Canada Dry cranberry ginger ale. This stuff tastes good. Oh man, it tastes so good. Got the cranberry kind, and um, this is the other one. Oh, They have this green tea flavored ginger ale. This is good too. And uh, uh okay, I can't get my hands on it, but they have blackberry flavor too. Oh man, it's good. I don't know if these are just limited edition sodas, but somebody opened up a couple of cases of these last week, and there was a bunch of people, but not that many. Most people don't take chances on fancy flavors of things, and nobody else was that interested, so I got whatever I could get. Because you gotta plan early when you're planning a party. And the thing is, on one hand, you shouldn't have to plan your own party, but on the other hand, if you want to do what you want, yeah, you got to make plans. These things don't, it's not like in LA where I just run into friends and great things happen, adventures happen. Just like I leave my house and I run into this cool person, I run into that cool person. In life, a lot of times will happen that way, but it's more likely to happen when it's warm enough where there's lots of people out. If it was in the summertime, sure, easy enough. Just avoid the cops and you're okay. But once it's cold and people are not so easy to find, they're going to be comfortable. They're going to be either making money or seeking comfort. One of the two. And I'm talking about the people that don't have homes. The people with homes, maybe, again, they could be comfortable in their home, or maybe they're out working or whatever. There's certain basic human needs that people basically going after. I don't know that looking after or making other people happy is a basic human need. You talk about two basic things. So yeah, you can't expect more people than they're capable of. That's another thing. And if most of the people around you have real serious drinking problems, they just can't be present. And I know a thing or two about that because I quit for a reason. So okay, I don't want to let this go too long. But thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to, oh yeah, that's a mouse. I don't know if you hear this. They're crawling up there. Maybe those are squirrels. You got these mice, and I don't think I have any food in here because I have everything is protected in these metal things. Like I'll show you. See this? This originally had popcorn in it. I found 3 of these on the street right next to this florist shop. I took them home. They were already pretty clean. I washed them real good. You take food. This is 4 ramen noodles. And you get a lot more ramen noodles if you break everything already. You do it carefully so you don't break the packages themselves. Damn. I don't know what they're into. Okay. I know they're not in my notebooks or my money. Oh, I'd be so mad if they got my money. You bastards. What are you eating? Oh man, this place. It's something else. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is reality. This is, as you can see, I don't have House Beautiful. I don't have proper places to even store my guitars. I like, those things that are like fingers. What do you call them? Some people have them mounted on their walls so they can hold instruments up. That'd be a good way to get them out of the way because I don't have cases. I have one case for one of my electrics, and I probably have to give that a good washing. I can't afford to have anything here that I have to worry about getting contaminated by the vermin. The mice, man, you should see the things. I don't know what it is they're eating to make the nests. They shred things. No, no kitties. Matter of fact, I got into a big fight with my mother last week. I was really stressed out by everything that I tell you guys, everything I'm stressed out about. I was stressing out And just so happens there was a real nice lady hanging out across the street. I think she may be one of the crackheads that hangs out around here because people duck behind trash cans, duck in alleyways all around here. They're smoking crack, they're shooting up heroin. There's people selling all this stuff, and they're selling weed too. And that's why I'm out looking for roaches, because if you're dealing weed, you're going to be the stuff that you smoke yourself. You might not be selling it, but you're going to have your best stuff. Those roaches, yes, I should have dibs on them. I live here. I got to put up with all your noise and bullshit. I should get dibs on the roaches, right? So anyway, this chick, she saw I was keyed up and stuff. She says, Leather, why don't you, put your outside clothes on and go on the boardwalk. Your friends are there. She's telling me about this cat that they've all been feeding. There's this real friendly cat. Looks a little bit like my Cassie, except a bigger cat. And because it has the ear tip on it, it's a fixed Alley Cat Allies fixed cat, real friendly. And she said, we could have this cat. And I'm thinking, why don't I go over there and at least love on the cat? But I've mentioned it to my mother, and my mother and I got into it. She said there's no way. She actually threatened to call the cops. Said if you bring this cat and everything. So I started again packing. So much of what I have packed, it's in the grow room. I started packing because I started to get into a fight, not usually with her, but with the other one. And so you get into a fight, you pack up so that you can leave and take your things. But I realized, okay, so I'm packed up. Where am I going to go with this shit that I have packed up? Right? And what happens if you get stuff that's packed up and then you have mice that bite the little bottom of the corner of it and say they piss and shit in your clothes that you hand washed and let dry, and you packed it away and you ruined your stuff? So anyway, I could have brought this cat in. Now there's this I don't know if it's like, it's kind of, I guess it's a social network, but it's a localized social network, and it's called Nextdoor. And I guess there's one for all over wherever you live. And I discovered that there's one for here. And so I joined just for the heck of it. And when I set up my profile, the only thing I said about myself is I play guitar and I love cats. So right away, somebody told me that their daughter is allergic and they have to rehome a cat. And so right away, it makes me feel like I just got punched. That I could ask on my Facebook page, but Facebook has so many postings from the shelters, the kill shelters. They post the cats that they're going to kill in a couple of days, desperately trying to get homes for them. Everybody's trying to get rid of their cats, or know somebody that tries to getting homes for cats and stuff. And I don't even repost those postings anymore, because first of all, it's depressing. Second of all, not once did I ever share something resulted in it being seen by the person that adopted it. So my efforts have not done damn good. I haven't even been able to get the homeless people I've met out here who have cats who needed them fixed. Haven't been able to get them fixed. And sometimes people lose their cats because they don't have them on leashes and they run away. And then when you try to help them, they accuse you of being part of the problem. And so you ever heard of the phrase "no good deed goes unpunished"? Well, there you go. That's part of one of the downsides to doing animal rescue. No matter what you do is never quite good enough. And then you read all these depressing news about abuse stuff, and it really gets to you. The things that they did to the Jewish people in October 7th. I mean, the torture and stuff. It's going on. People do that to animals, and it's just, yeah. Oh, and I'm still arguing with the people that they're saying that we're making too much of a big deal about what happened that day. No, I can't reason with people. I wish you could hear this. It sounds like they're climbing all over. But I have a fan down here so you don't hear the hip hop concert down here. But yeah. Yeah, but there are so many friendly cats on the boardwalk, and even around here when I was in line for the groceries. And now check this out. In order for me to stand in line for that, it's 7:30 in the morning. Okay, as soon as I see light out there, I go roach hunting. Okay, because the dealers are dealing all around here. And then I went around, I found just by happenstance around the corner that there's people had shopping carts or laundry carts waiting in line to save their place so that when they do these grocery giveaways, they're right in front. And so I'm thinking, oh, what a great idea. Set it, and then I go back here and hang out, make some coffee for me and my mom, maybe make breakfast or something, then go back and forth, and then put the shopping bags or whatever into the laundry cart, and then get some groceries and come home. Then all of a sudden, they put a sign saying that if you leave stuff there to keep your place and then you leave it, then stuff will be taken. So don't do it. But now, if say you do go and you leave, you can leave for up to 20 minutes and your stuff's safe. But if you leave longer than that, then the people that have been waiting, they'll just take your stuff and put it to the back of the line. You have people that really they have things they put it up near the front and they leave for like 3-4 hours and they show up just before 11 o'clock. And I had a problem with some people doing that. And even it starts to get racial when they pointed to me and they said, I'm white, which thank you for the biology lesson. I'm glad you noticed. As if that has something to do with the fact that you left your stuff unattended. When the sign clearly says, okay, it's not in all the gazillion languages that everybody speaks now. They only have it in English and Spanish. And they whoever it is that made the sign misspelled shopping. They spelled shopping Shiopping. So, but whatever. And they made us think about it a couple of days ago too. But imagine you getting up that early and you're waiting, and it was particularly chilly the last time. And still, you never know what you're going to get. And some of the things that they give out, only one a person, like ground beef. It was great when I was able to get 3 or 4 of them, but now you only get one stuff. And the thing is, you put it in the freezer, and that really was coming in handy. And I was thinking of making a couple hamburgers when I log off of this, because I use the fresh herbs that I grow in my garden, especially thyme. If you have thyme, and you be generous with it. Thyme is really good in hamburger meat. Seriously. Okay. I will talk to you guys in a couple of days, okay? If I can not knock anything over. My butt.